This is the solution to WEX 230. Okay, so it says solve, and specifically it says solve by completing the square. So that's the only method that will receive credit. Okay, so for this one, what we're going to do is collect all of the terms that have x's, so these two. Then the subtract 7 doesn't have an x, so it is not part of the group. So then inside of this group, we're going to add 0, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to take half of 10 and square it, and we're going to add that much, and then we're going to subtract the same amount. So 10 over 2 is 5, squared is 25. So that would be x squared plus 10x plus 25 minus 25 minus 7. The point of doing that is now notice that these first three terms are now a square. So x plus 25 squared, not 25, 5. X plus 5 all squared, then minus 25, minus 7 is 0. So now we can deassociate and combine those constants to get x plus 5 squared, and then minus 32 equal to 0. So x plus 5 all squared is 32. Okay, so then that's kind of like the halfway point of complete the square. So now we're squaring something, and the result is 32. So that means that, well, it's either the square root of 32 or negative square root of 32. So here the possibilities split. Either x plus 5 is negative square root 32, or x plus 5 is the square root of 32. So the square root of 32 can be simplified. That's 4 times 4 is 16, and then multiplied by 2 is 32, so a 4 can come out. So that would be 4 square root 2. So x plus 5 is negative 4 square root 2, or x plus 5 is 4 square root 2. Then moving the 5 over, we have x is negative 5 minus 4 square root 2, or x is negative 5 plus 4 square root 2. Okay. So, for the second one, observe that you can factor out a 3 before I do any work. And notice, I'll note that this is not monic. But I'm going to do myself a favor and note that if I factor out a 3, then I get x squared minus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0. And then if I divide both sides by 0, by 3, dividing both sides by 3, we get x squared minus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0. which is nice. 0 over 3 is 0. And so now this is monic. So that makes our life a little easier. Alright, so now exactly the same process as above. So we'll group the things that do have an x. So now we're going to add, well, I'll just do it like this. So then minus 3 is equal to 0. So then now we're going to add 0. We're going to add half of 8, which is 4. Squared is 16. So then plus 16 minus 16, and then minus 3 is 0. So now those first three terms factor as x. Minus 4 all squared, then minus 16 minus 3 equals 0. So now we can drop the parentheses, combine the units. X minus 4 squared minus 19 is 0, so then x minus 4 squared is 19. So this is kind of the halfway point. So now we want to know, is there something that squares to 19? Sure, the square root of 19. Or negative square root of 19. So the possibilities split to x minus 4 could be negative square root 19, or x minus 4 could be the square root of 19. So x could be 4 minus square root of 19, or x could be 4 plus the square root of 19.